document you have there to the directorate. I want to be very clear as to whether anybody from Treasury who, alongside representation from KAA and the assignment they were given, and that process is still ongoing.
The issue of shareholding?
Chris Krieger can respond. Actually, I asked you specifically to talk about any information you have about the shareholding of ADANI.
Shares were owned by ADANI Enterprise Limited. They were Mr. Pravan ADANI, who owned one Pritesh Shah, 1 share, Kruthath Thaka, 1 share, Desai, 1 share, and Ashish Shah, 1 share, which holds a top share during the evaluation stage. This was a notarized document provided by Kenya Airports Authority, by ADANI. I mean, through Kenya Airports Authority. I submit.
All right.
Chair, there is an independent way surely. You cannot rely on the entity. Declaration, there exists mechanism of independent ascertainment. Has that been done? And then the DG is aware that they had proposed that in the first 2 years of shareholding. What are we doing?
And Chair, I will not tire from repeating. That's why I'm saying we have 2 levels of due diligence. The detailed due diligence, where you will get all those facts. And it is good it is now being conducted now and not then. Because then you would be very clear on the shareholding of this entity. Why can't we just allow the process to conclude? The process is ongoing. Section 27, Honorable Sifuna, being a lawyer, I know you are very strict to legal provisions. I have mentioned 2 sections, Section 41 and 27. 41 is due diligence at that high level. There is Section 27. The process is ongoing.
Honorable Mbadi, you and I agreed a long time that when it comes to matters of finance, I will not question your judgment. I wish you remember that you also gave me an undertaking that when it comes to law, you will defer to my knowledge on the law. Honorable Mbadi, I know these days you don't attend social functions, but surely if your son tells you they want to marry somebody, the first thing you do is to find out which family that person comes from. Who's the mother of this child? Who's the father of this child? Will be auditing that ownership after the marriage has already been consummated and you find your son has married from a witch doctor's family. Surely.
Chair, and I agree. And by the way, that was an agreement some time back when we used to lead a very serious party together. But let me just put it up this way, that I respect Sifuna in matters law. He respects me on matters finance. The predicament we find ourselves in is we are dealing with a mongrel of both law and finance. And in that case, we just need to respect each other and guide each other systematically. Let me put it this way. The due Now, if you want now to go to the details and audit and find the actual ownership verified, then you move to the next level, where we are. Section.
Things are changing very fast. Yeah, so Vice Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, I served with Honorable Mbadi in the National Assembly for 10 years. And I know him as a man who will not allow the law to be circumvented by any way or any other process that is of public interest. Chair, I would ask the CS this. Now that, from what has been tabled, at least I have seen one letter, the one by a company called Nexus something, that one was received by KAA. And now that there is evidence that there was no full disclosure by the contracting authority, that is KAA, are you then, as Treasury and the PPP Directorate, ready to open up this process for competitive bidding, now that it's not only ADANI that has shown interest in this whole thing, considering the issues that have already been raised about ADANI? That is one. Chair, I also needed to know, where are we in this process, or what stage at the moment? And Chair, also knowing CS Mbadi very well, that he's a man who will only do what will be of value to Kenyans, that there'll be value for money. I'm sure you are, undertaking, a process to know that there are other interested parties who will do the JKIA airport on less money than what is being offered by ADANI. One of the examples I will give you is that Qatar Airways at the moment is building a more sophisticated international airport at Rwanda with a 5-star hotel for less than half of the money that ADANI is asking for. Would we not consider such other offers or such other groups that may give us value for our money? Thank you.
CS.
Full disclosure. You see, on what method of procurement to use, Treasury's role is just to guide. It's supposed to be the contracting authority, because again, if we gave too much directives to the contracting authority, I would again be here for interfering with the process. So we guide the contracting authority, in this case, KAA. And policy direction is from the State Department for Transport. So I want again be clear there that the policy direction will be given or is given by transport. In terms of where we are with this process, we are at due diligence stage still. I read it when I documented the steps that have been taken. So we are at the due diligence where all the issues that are of concern to the people, including public participation, if it were not for the court process, would still be ongoing as we speak. So there you can easily pick out issues of concern. Now, as to whether there is another provider, you see, this process has not concluded. I want to come back to that again. In fact, it will only conclude when the matter goes to the cabinet, where I sit, and the Attorney General also must give authority. So this process is still going on. And when it reaches the point where we now have to make a decision presented with facts on value for money, I am sure we'll engage our minds properly to it. But I also know, because I've also heard, and I had to inquire, that there could be another interest even after ADANI. I have heard, I have no evidence, no documents, that there could be another interest. But then the assurance I'm given is that there is nothing that stops KAA even from initiating another process or PIP. Even if it is a Qatar Airways, they can still initiate it now. And the only provision in law is that if that is concluded and it is better than the ADANI one, then they would compensate ADANI. That is what is provided in law, to the extent that that compensation is needed to be done. So I think, if you ask me, that this process is still at some stage where I think many of us are rushing to a conclusion that is concluded. Whether it is concluded in some people's minds, I don't know, because I can't open people's minds and hearts. But what I know is in terms of process and procedure, it is not. It has not come to the cabinet. The Attorney General has not approved it. So why are we concluding that it is concluded? For me, it is not concluded. Till it will be concluded.
All right, and just to ride on what Vice Chair had asked, when you are told to provide justification why the project is not suitable for open competitive procurement, in your response, you indicated time. And that is on the document that is on PPP Committee Technical Working Paper. They said the reason why is immediate need to develop the airport. It looks like an emergency. But now that you have heard there are other people who are interested, of which we are going to call KAA to come to this committee. And say why they never forwarded this PIP. They only chose to forward the ADANI one.
From KAA, the contracting authority. It's not from Treasury. And it is the contracting authority which has made that observation of time. This committee to guide, the PPP committee. But I also want to say this, Chair. Truth be told, our airport needs to be developed. We have complaints about the leaking roofs. We have complained about power. As to whether this PIP was the right thing to do, it's for the contracting authority to address. But what I know is PIP is provided in law. And as far as where it has reached, I have no reason as CS National Treasury of the Republic of Kenya to fault any process. The process is still ongoing. So far, I have no reasons to doubt the work that has been done by both the directorate, the committee, and even the contracting authority. So whether this should be stopped is not a decision I would sit here as CS, and that is why we have independent PPP committee to deal with that, the directorate to guide, the contracting authority. If I now come here as CS Finance and say they should stop, on what grounds?
But you sit at the cabinet and you're going to discuss it there. Would you give such an opinion?
Of course, if it comes to the cabinet, I will deal with it there. And you see, whatever we'll discuss in the cabinet will remain in the cabinet.
Senator Chute.
Yeah, maybe before you give Senator Chute.
I don't know what
this
what
committee
the
made a
CS means.
recommendation.
I don't know what it
Chair.
means because I have seen dispatches from cabinet when you have meetings. Why are you saying this one will remain there? Because after cabinet meetings, I usually see something called a dispatch from cabinet on the things that you have discussed. Honorable Mbadi, we live in a country of transparency. If it is a matter affecting all of us, you cannot say as CS that it will remain there. That airport does not belong to cabinet. It belongs to all the 55 million of us. And as the house that oversights executive, I think you should withdraw that statement, Honorable CS.
The recommendations.
Yeah, man, you know, Honorable Sifuna
Yeah.
and I, up to recently, have not had the luxury of being in the cabinet. And I've just been in the cabinet for a few weeks, but this is the information.
So you need some induction.
This is the information I would supply. That communication from the cabinet will come officially. Whatever is discussed in the cabinet is not for public consumption, but what the outcome, the decision is of the cabinet will be communicated. Whoever disagrees and agrees, we will never know. And I'm not at liberty to give my opinion here because then it will be said that Mbadi was overruled. So let me go to the cabinet and engage my mind at the cabinet. Then when the communication comes, you should know it is a collective responsibility, which now I cannot run away from, even if I had a different opinion.
Okay, Bwana CS. Vice Chair, a quick one, 1 minute.
Yeah,
Just 1 minute.
Chair, I just needed to put the record straight that the CS should also know that we in this committee or in the Senate are not opposed to the improvements and maintenance and even enlargement of development at the airport. We are not opposed to that. Neither are we opposed to the BOT, the build, operate and transfer method. We only want Kenyans to get value for money. We want the best to be given in order to do the job at the airport.
Yeah, that's setting the record straight.
Chair, I wanted
Yes.
to ask a supplementary question on what the CS has commented. CS, if you ask today straight to your face, there are these 4 methods of procurement, and you have been approached for advisory because the PIP proposal was brought to Treasury. And then also there are 3 other methods which are acceptable in law that can be followed. Is it possible for you as CS Treasury to guide that because of the nature of this project, let us avoid the PIP and go to competitive bidding, also noting that this project has brought a lot of public outcry. So at your level now where we are, is it possible to advise or to guide that let us stop the PIP because it was brought on by ADANI, and then we open it to competitive bidding, so that also you can get an opportunity also to make sure that ADANI also competes with other stakeholders who might be interested in the project.
Yes.
Chair, I only want to request that I'm not pushed to step outside the law. The public-private partnerships procurement methods are outlined in law. A contracting authority may procure a public-private partnership project under this act through A, direct procurement, B, privately initiated proposals, or C, competitive bidding, and D, restricted bidding. So either one of these can be picked and executed, so long as it is executed within the law, there would be no problem. So if it is pointed out to me clearly that there's violation of the law, I would guide otherwise. As to whether there were other PIPs, I'm yet to see. What I have seen here are letters, written, expression of interest. You know, even me, I can write to KAA and express my interest that I want to develop the airport. It doesn't have to proceed to PIP because there are conditions, there are things you have to fulfill. So if it is proved that there are some proposals that went to KAA, proposals, not expression of interest, and KAA did not act, then KAA needs to respond to Kenyans and tell us what happened. As far as I'm concerned, and I want to repeat, Treasury is not in receipt of any other PIP apart from the one by ADANI.
My question, Chair, is very simple. Whether as custodian of our Treasury, is it possible to guide the government where you sit, the presidency? Is it possible to guide that this method is not the best? Let us go to competitive bidding. Is it possible to guide at that level where we are today?
And again, Banasias, you said in your response, you actually quoted Section 40, subsection 2 of the PPP Act, saying that the project should be delivered at a fair market price. How would you know a fair market price if it is not competitive?
That is provided under PIP. You know, we are mixing 2 procurement methods, Chair. You cannot have PIP and have competitive bidding. It's not practical.
No.
So under PIP, to determine that, you do due diligence, technical evaluation, and that is the process.
The line we are talking about, Banasias, is the justification why the project is not suitable for competitive procurement. That is where we are.
You know, the assumption here is that procurement, competitive bidding, is superior to PIP. And I'm not seeing that in law. Can someone point out to me in this act where
But it's the law. It's the law that says, the one you're holding,
this law,
that you have to give justification why it is not suitable for open competitive procurement, not direct. So the one that is superior actually from that line is open competitive procurement, because you only need to give justification why you are not using that. So it must be the one that is superior.
And that is required for KAA to state, and they have stated. You can agree with it, you can
We
disagree
want you
with
to
it.
guide them. That is a question.
You see,
Whether you'd
Chair,
want to guide them.
Chair, let us allow the technical evaluation to
Point of
proceed.
information, Chair.
Once
Yeah,
it
can
is
I also make
done,
a comment?
once it is done, this process will even come to the cabinet. It will go to the Attorney General. All these
Point
legal
of in-
provisions.
point of
In fact, the
information.
Attorney
Can I
General
make a
has more
comment?
capacity
Point
to
of
even
information.
advise
Do you want to
Cabinet
inform?
Secretary.
I would like to inform the Cabinet Secretary that competitive procurement under the law is superior to a PIP. That is why under section 40, clause 3, paragraph J, you are required to give a justification why you can't use competitive bidding, because that is the default procurement standard. You are supposed to justify why you can't use competitive bidding. So I'd like to inform you that competitive bidding is superior and the default position in procurement. So when you want to deviate from that, you must justify. Of all the procurement methods you have given, the law does not require you to say why you can't use direct procurement, why you can't use whatever request for proposal. It requires you to state why you can't use competitive bidding, because even in Article 227 of the Constitution, clause 1, you have to procure in a competitive manner. So competitive procurement is the most ideal, it's the superior. These others are deviations and they are ring-fenced. You must justify why you are deviating from the standard or the default position. That's why the law requires that justification. So it's a superior method of procurement. That's the information I need to share, Chair. Thank you.
Thank
Actually, before you convince the Attorney General to sign the concession, you have to prove that you have complied with the law. And so that will be complied with. We are at a stage where we are still processing this transaction. It has not reached the level where now you can hold a contracting authority or anybody for failure to perform what is supposed to be performed still.
Okay, let's have. You see, Senator Fernandi has been raising his hand. Let me just give him 3 minutes. Yes, he has for the last, I
Okay,
think,
thank
20,
you.
30 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, thank you. Waziri, relax. I'll ask Dangatan-like questions. That is very simple. I'll not complicate your life. So relax and sit. Thank you. Chair, through the chair, Waziri.
Are you using a microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I audible enough? Thank you, Chair. Waziri and DG, are you aware that ADANI company, and I'll request that you write down so that you'll respond once and for all. Are you aware that ADANI group of companies have any affiliates in the country? Number one. Number two, there is a report by a consultancy company of America called Eidenberg Consultancy Company Limited. In the last 2 years, they uncovered tax manipulation and other illegal things that made ADANI group of companies lose $100 billion US. Are you aware of such? And the reason one of Swiss authorities where allegations were facing ADANI company that the account in Switzerland of 310 million had been frozen. Number three, in your Annex B, you are presented on the issue of work visa. That area, Waziri, is gray. What will be the fate of Kenya Airports Authority employees who were just demonstrating the other day over their worry and the fate of their work related? And it is not clear who should ADANI come with, because the issue of expatriates, the issue of qualification at one of you. Number four, There is a tunnel clause of 18% at the end of 30 years concession, a period of 30 years, that there is a tunnel clause of 18%. Does it mean after 30 years, ADANI will continue owning JKIA, our airport, with a stake of 18% forever until Jesus comes back? Number 5, I have letters here, and I don't know whether DG, you are aware, there are many letters from then PS Irungu Nyakera on developing Konsa Airport. Are there any PIPs on that matter? The 6th, Chair, I have seen most of the correspondence have the former Minister of Roads, Kipchumba Murkomen. There is the former MDK, Alex Kitari, and former CS of National Treasury, CS Ndungu. Is it possible to invite them to the committee to share more light, because it looks Waziri Mbadi is shooting in the dark? Is it possible to have them, including what was happening in Dubai, under the guise of other things? So is it possible, so that we can get the correct version? Let us have, and I want to advise, yes, Mbadi, we know you just came the other day. Don't carry anybody's cross. If this thing is gray, call it as it is. Leave it. Run away from where you come from, and your SG is here. It is good to stand with the truth and the transparency. So if the other people messed in office, don't carry any other. Then the 6th question, I have seen the letter in Annex 5, Annex F, sorry, that was addressed to PS Dagar. And they are saying the JKIA land will be provided by KIA. I thought all land below is managed on behalf of National and County through National Land Commission. You need to clarify that. On the issue of fixed exclusive concession fee, is about 47 million. And in fact, per annum, and they are saying they will adjust 10% based on inflation. Don't you think this is expensive for the country? And finally, Chair, on the feasibility report that was done by KA to ADANI, in your own opinion as an auditor, was this an insider trading, or let me, for lack of better word, that was being used to try and perpetuate, in conclusion, Chair, to try and perpetuate giving state capture, giving upper hand to ADANI group of companies that is running everybody, is running Shiv, is running now Ketraco, is running our airports. Who knows, they may come and run our wives and our children if we are not careful with this ADANI group of companies. So, Chair, I request CS Mbadi, tell the country the truth. Every Kenyan, from even Suba to Nandi, would really want to know your position on this matter. And I want to say, with exception, Chair, when you took an oath of office to protect the rule of law and the Constitution, you cannot be part of an illegality. It is also your responsibility to advise the government on the rule of law and the truth, Chair. So, Chair, on this issue of ADANI, I would have expected a lot from, and that is why your former colleagues in the other side of the aisle do not believe who you are, because we wanted you to tell us the truth as it should be. So please run away from this one. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, whether Dani has affiliations locally, I have no idea. I think I will later allow my DG, who has interacted with this a lot, to tell us if he's aware of any affiliation, local affiliations, though there is nothing really wrong with having local affiliates, if you ask me, if it is procedurally done and made public. American consultant making allegations, I have no.
Processing there. With who and why? On this 100 billion, Bwana CS, it is on record in the Indian stock market, the SEBI, which is stock exchange market of India, has investigated this gentleman and found out of tax manipulation and others, it is on record is 100 billion US dollars. So it's
Thank
not
you.
allegations.
So, Chair, let me again repeat what I said. We have a process that is ongoing to date, a very extensive technical evaluation. If all the facts that Senator Cherargei is bringing forth is accurate, that will be found out. It will be discovered. I want to be on record. From the information I have, my DG has not traveled to India on this matter. There's an officer from the directorate, but it's not him. Now, let's talk about the workers.
If DG is on oath, why is the CS answering on behalf of the DG? Can the DG just confirm?
But Chair,
He said
He's also on
going-
oath, so
he
also
said
he
he's
can
going to
answer.
give him an opportunity. So allow the CS to
you
first
know,
of all
Chair,
finish.
actually, I wanted
and
to
go to
raise that
DG.
from the beginning.
But
that,
you are with us in parliament, how do you know he had not traveled?
that the letter, you see, I've come to answer questions on behalf of the National Treasury.
I know.
And Chair, I would want to just request that that is respected. I am
No,
not.
no, we don't. I
am
don't have a
not- I'm
problem.
not-
No, no,
I'm-
no. You know,
Senator-
CS Mbadi.
Can I just conclude?
Senator Cherargei,
You know,
allow the CS.
no, the deputy
you know-
speaker should hold resources. You are in charge, chairman.
Allow the CS to express himself.
But I'm saying on issue, if we want to find out if you came from Kiambu today, should we ask your vice chair? You are the one who can answer.
But you see,
It's simple.
Chair,
There is a reason, Chair, and we are not asking that question in vain, whether the DG traveled to India or
And
not.
we want the
because
passports,
We will
Chair.
table a hard-shaking
Passports
evidence and
should be
passports and boarding
presented.
passes.
The DG will answer after
Chair.
the CS is done.
but Chair, can I also mention, and I wanted to say it earlier, but you ruled, and I respected, that the letter to Treasury was inviting the CS. The others was to accompany me. If you look at that letter, in fact, even putting the digit under oath, the letter I have, and I want to repeat, dated 18th, was addressed to the CS, and in that letter, I was asked to come with my PS, to come with the DG, and to come with other members of the committee. So I am the witness.
Yeah, but nothing stops this
But I have
committee from
that is
asking
why
anyone,
the DG has
not
been
just the
responding.
DG.
He will, and I say it, he's here, he will tell you. I have just responded that the officer who came from the Treasury to India for this due diligence was not the DG. If the DG went to India,
Can you table the evidence of that, officer? Thank you, Chair. As a procedure of parliament, can you table the details on the date and time and the hotels he slept with? Other stories we don't want, just the official ones. We know there are many unofficial
no,
ones.
you know, Cherargei, that's information.
No,
that-
Waziri, you answer me through the chair.
Senator
You're not
Cherargei
answering
through the chair.
Cherargei.
Chair,
Yes, well,
a
yes.
public officer traveling using public resources can never be secret. If you want to get information on
100.
who,
Through you, Chair. Through you, Chair.
You know, Cherargei asked about 8 questions, and we have not even
Yeah.
had. an
Through you,
answer.
Chair.
Can we have the 7 questions answered?
100%. But the CS is wasting time. The reason is very simple. Even the people who went to India and the flights they took are known. So don't go that route. You
see-
talk about,
you see,
do you
Chair.
want this thing to continue
Chair.
or not? That's where we
Chair,
are.
with due respect,
Yes.
I am supplying information. Let me supply it. If you have your information, then don't ask me. If you don't want me to say what I know,
Point of order, Chair.
Let's have the CS.
the
I won't
CS
I won't
Chair,
I
entertain.
am
But you
giving
know
you
you
the
can-
I won't
information I
entertain.
have.
I won't entertain.
The information I
point
have
of order.
is that there is a team.
Do you have
that
the
went-
DG's passport? For us to see whether he
Yeah.
traveled or not?
Senator
Chair,
Onyonka.
Chair, can you be in control of this meeting?
Senator
Because
Onyonka.
everybody's
No, are
talking.
you directing
I
the
will-
chair?
I will
The
switch-
chair
I will
knows
switch
how
off
to
your
control the
microphone.
meeting.
I will switch off your microphone. Allow the
chair,
CS
the chair
to
relax.
answer
No, Chair.
so that Senator
CS.
Chute can also ask questions. Let's not waste time with interjections that are not necessary.
Chair.
Give him 2 minutes. Senator Chute, I'll give you a minute after he answers the question. Otherwise, why were we asking the question if we cannot allow the CS to answer them? So kindly give him time to answer the questions. When a CS, go
Yeah,
direct to the
on that
questions.
matter, I want to
and
say the officer, if you want the information of the officer who was sent to India from the National Treasury or the Directorate, we can provide it.
Next question.
On the staff, the staff, it is clear, it was clearly spelled by the committee that all the staff of JKIA will transit. So that is there in the report. So I don't see why that should be a problem. On the issue of 18% up to 30 years, I'll ask Kirigwa to respond to. PIPs for Konza Airport, again, Kirigwa, you can tell us if there is anything to that effect. Correspondence by various CSS, and I've been told not to carry anybody's cross. I am not carrying anybody's cross, Honorable Senator Cheragay, through the chair. I have no reason to. And by the way, what I'm giving you are facts. I am the CS National Treasury. When a matter like this comes up, what I do is to get the information. I have looked for this information. I have supplied the information which we have. Any other information that is flying out there, I don't have it. JKIA land will be provided by KIA, and you said that is not procedural. This is what the report captures, the report of the committee. Land acquisition or allocation should be aligned with the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport master plan and subject to availability of land and requisite approvals, in bracket KAA board, National Land Commission, other relevant government agencies, which would include the person who is in custody of the title deeds. And that is where my office is. Noting that KAA has existing leases on land with third parties. So I think I've addressed that one. Feasibility report. The information I have, the feasibility study was done by ADANI and submitted to KAA. So that is the information. It was not done jointly, the way I understand it. It was done by ADANI and submitted to KAA, which now then became the project, is it called project development report? The project development report, and which was then submitted for evaluation to the directorate. So that's a bit that I would clearly put across. Kirigwa, kindly respond to some two issues here.
Before you go to Kirigwa, Chair, can you confirm what I have heard, unless I've heard my own things? Did the CS now just say that all employees will be transited to ADANI? Because is that what he said? Yes. Because, Chair, remember when I was asking questions about the percentage of employees that ADANI wants to take up, the CS told this committee that he didn't know. I don't know if that figure has now been supplied now and he's saying 100%. CS Mbadi, you have given two answers to me and I'm confused. What is the position?
Can I repeat?
Yes.
And I said it. In fact, if you listen to my written submission, what I told you that I'm not aware of is whether in the proposal of ADANI, it specified that they will only take a percentage. And I said I need to check whether they stated that. But the report of the committee, and I beg that you allow Honorable Sifuna to focus on me so that he can.
I am very focused.
The report of the committee is very clear.
Point of information.
100%. In fact, the committee has recommended that before this matter progresses further, that ADANI must ensure and commit and confirm. And I want to repeat it. I want to repeat the report. The PPP committee also directed that the following should be addressed in the concession agreement. It is page 12 for my submission. D, that the contracting authority, Kenya Airports Authority, should ensure that current employees of JKIA are onboarded by the concessionaire on priority basis and on better terms. Further, that the concessionaire gives preference to recruitment of Kenyan nationals in all positions. So I'm not giving two answers. The answer that I gave you about not knowing the percentage is when you asked me that ADANI had proposed a percentage.
Yeah,
I
so
said
CS,
I didn't have
you're
that.
confirming as a CS for National Treasury, you have not read the proposal from ADANI. You don't know what is in there.
Let me tell you, Chair, I really even don't need to read the proposal of ADANI. Because
How can you say that, Honorable
Actually, the CS Treasury has very limited role. The only thing I am doing is to look at the procedure, how it is followed. And My directorate has looked into this matter, has found gray areas, including that issue of staff. And the committee, the PPP committee, has made a recommendation, which should be binding. Then what is the problem?
At the very least,
What is the
Honorable
problem?
CS, my expectation,
If you want to go that
forgive me,
direction, then
forgive
there
me,
must be a public participation.
forgive me,
of,
Honorable Mbadi, for holding you in very high regard. But you know why? There is no way somebody comes knocking at your door. You don't even find out what this person wants, what they are saying, who they are, where they've come from. At the very minimum, you must know what is contained in the proposal so that you are able to answer these questions. It is clear in that proposal from ADANI that it is not everyone they intend to absorb. So you are saying what we should do. You are saying what we should do. We should push them so that they take everybody up. But at the very minimum, as a person responsible for your docket, you should know what they are asking for.
Yeah, and
Chair.
you said, Banasias, from that section D you have just read, that the JKIA employees will be onboarded on priority basis. You know that word, on priority basis? You know, they might not even have priority, but I don't know what it means.
Chair, let me remind this committee of the position that was taken by the CS for transport. You know, part of the problem we have been told about this Kenya Kwanza government is that there is no clarity in communication.
Broad-based government.
Kenya Kwanza.
Broad-based.
Broad-based.
Kenya Kwanza government.
Chair.
Honorable Chair.
Chair, it's
You stop
bread-based. Bread-based.
Stop distracting me. The CS for transport told us that as far as the employees for the airport are, and because you are not here, let me brief you. Mambo ni matatu. You will either take a contract with ADANI or choose to remain with KA, but you cannot work at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. They can send you to Malindi, or you quit and you take a package of what is it called? A golden parachute package. So, Honorable CS Mbadi, this is why we were insisting that even though we know the oath of secrecy in the conversations at cabinet, what we want is coherence in communication of government policy and the position. So which one are we supposed to take? The CS Treasury or the CS Transport?
And also the CS Transport told us that if we cancel this deal, we are not going to lose any money. But you mentioned we are going to lose money.
Yeah,
Clarify.
where we are, there's no deal. What deal are we talking about? As far as I'm concerned, there's no deal. This is a process. And so there's nothing you're going to lose. You'll just return the money.
Chair, which money?
Let me
With
just
the
put
public
it.
uproar, why don't you recommend to be cancelled? Leave it. Walk away from it.
Let me just put this.
If it
Chair.
works
Okay.
or quacks like a duck,
There.
it's a duck.
Chair,
This
on
the smell is skunk.
why are you rooting for Qatar Airways?
No, I'm not saying I'm Qatar. No,
Yes.
Chair, can you withdraw?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
I am
question.
not a
Get one even from
Chair, if I may
Uganda.
also
Get
a
one from
withdraw.
Yeah.
You
Uganda.
can get
Good.
one from Ethiopia.
Can you
Yes.
withdraw?
Why
Chair,
let me
can
put
you
it this
withdraw
way?
to
Chair.
impute that they are
This is the
was also
corruption we don't want.
Qatar?
Yeah, can I just
We don't know even where
can I
Qatar
just
is.
respond to this issue?
Let's have
Where
the
is it?
CS. Let's
Of
have the
employees.
CS.
And the
Yes.
PS withdraw
Because I
that
think
part
this is
of
very
Qatar.
important.
Chair,
Let the
since
CS talk
Kenyans-
about the employees.
Can you withdraw first?
What?
For saying we are lobbying for Qatar, you didn't listen to
No. I almost asked the same question.
Yes.
So I almost asked that question because I don't know why we are throwing names here and others. So just give your response.
Chair, let's temperature has not rise. Let me come back to it. The issue of employees. There is no inconsistency, Chair. You cannot take all the employees of JKIA to work if they don't want to work. That is why it is said they will be onboarded on priority basis. And then, if you look at this document we call heads of terms, it's very clear that during the interim management period, the JKIA employees will remain employed by the grantor. The concessionaire will make an offer to the existing employees on terms that are no less favorable to their existing terms of employment. In fact, this provision of the law
Have you done some
is even clear.
public hearings for you to say that?
Public hearing.
Public
Yeah.
participation.
Do I address that? Yes. You know, Chair, I have said the committee recommended public engagement. It is in my response. It is a process that is ongoing now. Yeah.
Chair,
If it were not for the
excuse me,
courts,
Chair.
the stoppage by the courts.
Excuse me, Chair. Employees of Kenya Airports
Now-
Authority were forced to go and hold a meeting under gunpoint.
You know,
Being told
you know,
by
Chair,
his people to go
Chair,
and sign documents
Chair,
that they have
just the
attended the
same way.
function.
Just the same way when the senators get agitated when you make wild allegations. Please,
They are not wild. We have the
Please,
evidence.
please.
They can table affidavits in
Cannot
this
be wild
committee.
allegations.
They are not
Chair,
wild. John Mbadi, I don't
I
even have a
want to-
child who works at the airport.
I also
I
don't
want
even
to
have
Those
a
are your people being kicked out.
Senator
Point
Senator
of order,
Onyonka,
they can never be
Chair.
wild
Calm down.
Chair,
allegations.
I
Calm
doubt
down.
whether this
He calm
country.
down
calm
himself.
down, calm down.
Chair, I wonder.
Why
When
you
you
not
talk-
accusing
when-
your
when-
committee
when-
of allowing peddling
No,
of
no, no,
wild
no.
allegations?
It's
Chair.
because I have given everybody
Chair.
an opportunity. You cannot shout back at each other. I'm giving everybody an opportunity to express themselves. So can he finish? If you have an additional question, you ask. So,
People are being fired from work. Look at those workers. Go and see them when you're traveling.
Chair, point of order, Chair.
can I
It's
have
absurd what we are doing
Senator
to this
Chute?
country.
Point of order, Chair.
You know,
Yes,
by
Senator
saying
Chute.
Chair,
wild
kindly
allegations,
invoke-
it's dangerous.
Standing order 105,
Yes,
please.
I'll get there. When you give your statement, it must be a statement of fact. I don't want you to use this committee to get video and viral clips so that you can supply them all over. What I'm trying
Chair,
to
you're
say,
out of
no,
order.
no, 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 no. Chairman,
Yeah,
cannot-
we
chairman
elected you to
cannot
be
out
our
of
chair.
order.
Chair,
Don't
No,
tell us
chairman
that we want
elected you
videos.
to
That's
chair
what
the
you always
committee.
do.
Chairman
That's also
cannot
what you
be out
do.
of order.
Isn't that
No,
what
you're
you
out
do?
of order.
That's what you do when you're
I'm
fighting
telling you.
Wamatangi.
I'm telling
That's
you,
You are
what
out
you
of
do.
order.
We are not like you.
Senator
This is
Onyonka,
a national matter.
Chairman, we
Senator
can move
Onyonka,
a
agree to
motion
be
to move
railroaded.
from that chair.
Now,
This is
ukora,
not-
ukora,
cannot
ukora.
talk to
some
us
of
like
us have
that.
been
no,
chairs.
sir,
and
this
we
is
have
not a
done
TV
better.
interview.
You
Chair,
cannot, no, no,
being
no.
chair,
Be
some of
intimidated.
us
Then we
have been
cannot,
chair.
we cannot,
Chairman,
We
you
are
cannot
not
say
new being
that.
No, no, no,
chairs.
no, no.
We
You
have
cannot say
chaired.
that.
if you
We have
disrespect,
chaired in this parliament
if you
with the Mbadi in the
disrespect
last
the
Yeah,
chair,
session.
just say so.
And I chaired a
If
very
you
serious
disrespect-
committee of jail act.
Just
if you
apologize for that
disrespect the
and-
chair,
Kenyans.
if you disrespect the chair, I'm going to invoke every other standing orders that will make sure that you align.
You can go ahead.
Let's
Go
have
ahead.
Omtata. Kindly, don't use this committee.
No,
You can't-
No, chair, you can't
No,
say
no, no,
that.
no, no. I have-
You cannot
No.
say that.
Because there's a deal coming.
Cannot say
What
that.
I'm
These are
trying
the
to say.
deals which have made our country become ungovernable.
Yeah,
Let's
Chair,
have
Chair, can I
Senator
just say
Omtata.
one thing? One
Senator
thing,
Omtata.
Senator Omtata. Senator Omtata, with respect,
Let's
just
have
let me
Senator
say one
Omtata.
thing to the
No,
chair.
I'm the chair, not Omtata.
Yeah, but chair,
Let's have Senator Omtata.
Chair.
I'll give you an opportunity.
yeah, please,
I'll
let's
give
not,
you an opportunity.
let's not proceed in that fashion.
I've been giving you some
You also must
time.
must respect the
Can I
views of other
have
members.
Can I have Senator Omtata to ask his question?
Chair, you know it's impeachment season. Please don't joke around with us.
It doesn't matter.
We will impeach you.
I will stick within. I will stick within the standing orders.
No, gusa kila kitu
I
lakini
will stick
usiguse
within the
mlima.
standing orders.
Gusa kila kitu
Yeah.
lakini usiguse
Let's
mlima.
have Senator Omtata. Senator Omtata.
Yes, Honorable Chair, thank you for the opportunity. And I would want to begin by saying that Honorable Waziri, also thank you for giving us a well paginated and arranged documents. I must appreciate that. It has been easy to follow your documents. I only wanted to refer you to Exhibit BB and CC. Those are drafts of the ALG reports. And if you look at Exhibit BB, it really has got no value. It just has an index, just a list of indexes. But when your brother, Honorable Churchill, was here, he brought us final reports of that study. So I don't understand why you brought us drafts when your brother brought us final copies of the reports on which I had wanted to ask you questions, but you brought drafts that are not really applicable. So I would be asking, I've got two documents I would like to table here, which I would ask I think copies are with the clerk. There's a dispatch from the cabinet, that's issue number 8 of 2024. And there's an affidavit that was filed by ADANI in High Court Judicial Review case number E199 of 2024. And I would like the minister, I'll refer the minister to that document. But before I get there, there's this letter that was given that came from the State Department of Transport, dated 1st March 2024. It's a small detail that is really disturbing me. The letter is dated 1st March 2024. It's coming from the Department of Transport. You have told us here that the KAA received a document. It went through the document, found it suitable, gave it to the department to forward here. Now, when you look at the ADANI proposal, it is dated March 2024. This letter is dated 1st of March 2024. Did the KAA receive a document that had not been authored? Because I'm finding it extremely difficult, even assuming that that document is dated 1st of March, I'm finding it extremely difficult that a document dated March had moved from the Kenya Airports Authority, had been received there, had moved from the Kenya Airports Authority to the Department of Transport, and then it had been submitted to Treasury on the 1st of March by that letter. Either we're dealing with fiction or something is not adding up. So to clarify that, you say that upon presentation of the proposal, $50,000 was paid. Can I have the receipt of that money so that I can confirm the day when ADANI made the proposal? I've checked your documents, I don't see that receipt. I would like to be assured of the date.
Bonacieux, you have another question?
Yeah, no, I just want that to clarify because that looks like fiction, so you'll clarify that. And as we go ahead, I would like to put to the CS that the requirement for due diligence is not in two stages. Section 25, Section 27, and Section 40, Clause 2 and Clause 3 have to be read together. You cannot have two reports of due diligence. It's your creation to try and justify an excess. There is no provision in the law for two stages of due diligence. The two sections have to be read together. Otherwise, I don't know what we shall be doing. So to me, it's only one due diligence that should be done from my reading of the law. The first one is general, as a general provision of due diligence, the one under 27. The one under 25, under 40, is specific, and it's just to make sure that you don't miss that within this particular process. So I don't see how you are reading the law to get that you can do two stages of due diligence. Another question that I have is on in this, when you look at the item you have brought in as the ADANI, which is also what the proposal, that is exhibit under H and I. I would like to walk you through that document by the ADANI group. And one of the questions is, I want you to show me where in that document ADANI is giving Kenya even 1 cent, and whether ADANI is an agent of the government of Kenya or an investor, or whether ADANI is a broker who is looking for investors, and whether we are walking the same route we walked to the SGR, where it proposed that it was going to head the money, then it said it was going to look for investors. Then at the end of the day, we ended up with something called government to government through the Exim Bank of China. So I want you to show me in this document that you brought where ADANI is giving Kenya 1 cent. Forget about the billions you're talking about. Or whether ADANI is presenting itself as an agent of the government of Kenya to put together a consortium of financiers. Also, as we go, I want to refer you to, I've looked at this document, I didn't have much time, I've looked at the document. I want to refer you to page 5 of the document, and you will see my concern there. That's the third paragraph, the last line of the third paragraph. It says, the proposed project will be financially financed by ADANI airports to cover short, medium, and long-term goals through suitable debt and equity as highlighted in detail in this PIP. Now, when you begin going through the detail of the PIP, I think it's when you go to page 37, I go to page 37, you look at that program called section 7.3, the special purpose vehicle. Under that flowchart, it's written, ADANI Airports intends to bring strategic financial investors for proposed development of various aspects of JKIA master plan, including terminal, airside, and landside. And it continues. When you go to paragraph 47, page 49, there's some, that's I think the first, second, third, the fourth paragraph is headed robust EPC contracting process. Bullet 1, we would implement value for money initiative with engineering, procurement, and construction EPC contract. We would prioritize reputable contractors with a track record in large infrastructure construction. We would tie payments to milestones and project completion, ensuring accountability. So we're talking of other contractors whom ADANI will bring in. When you go to the second bullet, is equally important, but for time I'll read the third bullet. Strong supplier-contractor relationships in the realm of airport development. Our contracting process stands as a testament to our commitment to excellence. We meticulously engage with major contractors renowned for their expertise in large-scale airport infrastructure projects. Our approach prioritizes partnerships with reputable contractors, ensuring seamless collaboration and exceptional project outcomes. Payments are tied to project milestones and staff are repeating that. When you go to the next page, robust capital management, that's point 3 on page 50. They talk of we propose to negotiate favorable terms with lenders, including interest rates and repayment schedules, and leverage the airport revenue potential to source competitive financing terms. Next bullet, we propose to explore different financing options, including loans, bonds, etc., and consider the cost, terms, and flexibility of each financing method. We propose to structure debt in a way that aligns JKIA, whatever. So when you look at this, you say, and there are many other places. So is ADANI investing in Kenya, or is ADANI doing a brokerage service for the Republic of Kenya? I would like to be enlightened on that. When you go to page 56, you look at something called direct agreement stroke substitution. It says GOK, that's Government of Kenya, to enter into direct stroke substitution agreement with the lenders. Then they require land free of encumbrance and what have you. You have 56, and as we walk through, you look at something very interesting. On page 57, they are talking of change of laws. GOK to enact or amend the existing Kenyan laws to the extent required for fulfillment of the terms of concession agreement to make the project bankable, and ensuring the commitments made to the investor are met. So we are required to change our law to conform to the investor, or whatever that means. So I'd want you to explain to me what that means. And as we go through, I want to point you out to another issue that I found disturbing. There is KAA on page 56. KAA to issue sublease to concessionaire of land for the purpose of development of commercial real estate. What has the commercial real estate to do with a construction of an airport? And then, of course, the next one also talks about transferring those licenses. So when you come to the work visa, it says government of Kenya to assist to arrange work visa for skilled expatriate required for the execution and operation of the maintenance of the air project. And that is tied to another place whereby they have talked of the issue of employment, which was coming up, whereby they clearly indicate that they are going to come in with their own workers. That's on page 59, paragraph 6. They talk about they will offer employment to mutually agreed percentage of present KA employees. They are not taking all of them. There will be a mutually agreed percentage, terms and conditions recorded, and the concessionaire may employ
you.